Hey, what's up, y'all? Sin here for Truthfully Speaking. Just kind of wanted to give you a little heads up on what's going on. What you just heard was topic of discussion. It's a poem that I wrote like 7 years ago, and I just wanted to decode it real quick to kind of give you like an idea of where my mind was or what I was going through or thinking about when I decided to write this poem. So, I kind of start from the top, work my way to the bottom, and kind of give you just an idea of my emotions as I went through this whole topic. So in the beginning, you know, it sounds like it's a lot of dialogue, but it's really not. It's really just me sitting in front of a woman, and this is a true story, but I was sitting in front of my girl at the time. And, I'm sitting there, so picture me sitting there with a puzzled face on, and almost like in confusion. And, she sits there and she looks at me, and she sees all the confusion in my face, but, instead of me saying, what's wrong, babe, which is what really she said, I just decided to change it into what's the topic. Because she's sitting there again looking at me. So, that's why I say, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder what I'm talking for. But when I say that, I'm not saying that to her. So the whole time she's sitting there looking at me saying, what's the topic, there is no answer as of yet. Everything else that follows from what's the topic is literally just me in my mind going through a battle between me trying to figure out the right words to say what I really feel at the time. So that's why I say, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder what I'm talking for. I'm playing tag with the words that as of right now they seem to evade me. Really, I'm just looking for the right words is what I'm saying. And though I chase them playfully, I much rather forfeit, allow them to have their way with me. I really want this to just come natural, but I feel like I'm forcing it, basically. So when I'm talking to her, or when I'm thinking about saying what I need to say to her, I really don't want to force it. I want it to come natural. And, at the time, I still didn't know how to do it. I'm still trying to figure out exactly how to say something that most people would think is so simple. So I go through that part, and that's why I kind of said I'm trying to egg myself on to bring forth the right words. Nothing's coming over easy. I often find myself scrambling. None of the words are coming easy for me to say. So instead of me trying to get the words out, I'm looking for another word or the next word to even say. So I kind of get through that thought process in my head, and I'm saying, you know what, I should just say it. So before my heart and my mind taking every trip away from my nerve, because I'm kind of nervous, I kind of just want to throw caution to the wind. Because truthfully, you either hate it or love it like your favorite recipe. After I say what I need to say, which is I love you, I don't know how she's going to take it. I mean, when you say I love you for the first time to someone, it's not a guarantee that they'll say I love you back. It's not a guarantee that they love you at all. They could tell you something crazy like they cheated on you. So, you never know what's going to come of it. So you just kind of have to throw caution to the wind and say it if you feel it, but in due time or in the right time. So, that's why I kind of say you either hate it or love it like your favorite recipe. There's uncertainty here. There's also sincerity. A dash of uncertainty, a sprinkle of sincerity. Just the time, maybe you'll have a better me. In due time, I'll say these words and hopefully they're relayed correctly. And then I go into saying people use these words so sparingly. The reason I say that is not the fact that people don't use the words I love you. They use it all the time. The issue is people don't use it correctly, or they say it just almost as easy as saying hello instead of really meaning what they say. Love is an extremely powerful word, so when you say it, you should really mean it. And a lot of people don't. So, that's why I was kind of just saying it in that manner. People use these words so sparingly. So forgive my hesitance. I don't want to say it too early. I don't want to prematurely just throw this out and not really feel it. But I'm preferring now, more than ever, since this isn't something I prefer to be resting with. Reason being, I'm getting to the mindset of, I really don't want to go to sleep another day without saying what I need to say. Anything could happen. I could die or whatever the case is. I really don't want to go to sleep without saying these words. It's almost the idea of, never going to sleep, while arguing with your girl. You should never go to sleep mad at her. Same deal. I don't want to go to sleep before saying what I need to say. And then as soon as I have that thought in my head, something in me says, well, you can sleep on it another day. So that's why I say, well, if I did, I pray to keep the same thoughts I went to sleep dreaming with. If so be it, I went back to sleep without saying what I needed to say to you. Hopefully when I wake up, I have the same exact thoughts. So when I wake up, I'm thankful that I have another shot at saying something that at the time is so hard for me to say. So again, I pray for you, but I pray for me. But it's funny because I should be praying for the courage to have the nerve to say what I hope you would already see. Hopefully, by this time, even though I haven't said it, I was hoping that she actually knew that I loved her because of everything I was showing. So, it's questions in my head where I'm sitting there thinking like, well, what if you find it insufficient? In other words, what if I say I love you and you're kind of like, no, you don't, or whatever. Like, what if you don't see where I'm going with it? So, I say, well, what if you find it insufficient? Because where you find simplicity, where it's so easy for other people to seem to say, I'm kind of indifferent. I'm thinking, why does it matter if I say it, if I'm showing it? I'm literally showing you that I love you. Why do I even care if I actually say it? And obviously with women, it's not that way. Even if you show it, they need the words to be said. But at the time, I was like 23, whatever the case is, I didn't really think like that. I thought that if I showed it, I didn't have to say it as much. Wiser now, but whatever. So then, I just think of the world and how everything's reversed, and I also kind of compare it to the idea in the world of a girl or a female, which is everything's kind of backwards from a guy. So, that's why I say in this world, buying is better than selling. And honestly, it's not. You rather gain money than give money away. But that's why I say, in this world, buying is better than selling. And then right after leaving that world or that mind frame, I'm thinking, something so simple now makes no sense. Because heaven is better than hell, I would think, in a literal sense. But now I'm so confused by, the thought process of it all. I'm even, not even really figuring out or understanding something that's obvious. Heaven is better than hell in a literal sense. So I kind of throw all those thoughts away and I say, well, I'm literally feeling that this feeling is from God. This is a godly love. I love you. And if I did happen to die without saying the words, these are the same feelings I'd go to heaven with thinking. But I also come to terms with thinking, you know what? I'm not going to wait for you to die. I'm not going to wait for you to die to get to heaven so I can say it to you then. No, I'd ask God for a second chance to be resurrected because I'm not waiting for you to die. I wouldn't want you to die anyway, so I'm not going to wait for that. But if you happen to refuse me, then I'm so messed up in the thought process of needing to say these words, I'd sell my soul. I'd sell my soul to the devil. I tickle the thought of aligning myself with Satan. Obviously, that's a crazy thought, but that's how deeply I feel what I feel. So I tickle the thought of aligning myself with Satan. Then obviously I come to grips with that and say, no, I'm just playing. But I need you to kind of understand my thought process, understand my logic, because this is too hot a topic in my mind to drop it. I'm trying to let it go and not even think about having to say these words. But all the wave of emotions, everything that I'm feeling, something, my first instincts are telling me to just go with it. So to ride it or ride with it. And the end result hasn't come to fruition. I have no idea after what I say. After I say I love you, I have no idea what happens next. The conclusion hasn't come. But, I'm just trying to say, you know what, if I say I love you, even though I have no idea, me and you together seems like a great idea. Because as of right now, we're a great idea. So after I say these words, who knows what comes? So I'm saying, the future seems prolific. The only catch is you too. You got to be with it. In other words, you got to be in the same boat. You don't even have to tell me you love me at this time. Even when I say to you, you don't have to tell me that. In this case, she actually told me she loved me beforehand, but just the idea of it, she doesn't have to say that. What I'm really just trying to say is you got to be in the same boat. We got to be in this together, in this fight together. So the catch is you got to be with it. Because then I start to kind of compare the fact that I no longer can live without you. So what am I without you? Or, I kind of compare everything. What's a woman with no man? And that's not to come an independent woman or single ladies, whatever, but basically the grouping is always better. So, what's a woman with no man? And then I just kind of compare it. What's a window with no view? A window with no view is there's no point to it, basically. An ocean with no land. If it's just ocean, then land isn't so beautiful. The land isn't so great or it doesn't stand out. So you need both. Song with no hook. A hook is what catches you or brings you into a song normally. And then, a crime with no crook. Obviously, you can't, if there's no crook, there's no crime. So I'm just kind of comparing that I need you just as much as I would think or hope that you need me. That's what all the comparisons come from. Crime, no crook. Basically, I'm saying, again, I need you. And from that point on, I start to come to terms with the fact that, it's nothing left in me to fight these ideas or these thoughts. So as I'm gearing to the end of the poem, I'm really getting to a point where I'm saying, there's nothing else to fight with. Like, I don't know why I'm fighting so hard. This is not that hard to say if I'm feeling it. So, I'm sitting there, again, not saying anything to her in real life. This is all in my head. All these thoughts are in my head. I'm basically saying, you haven't noticed because you're sitting there waiting for me to answer all the shucking and jiving that I'm doing in my head. All the prancing around. The alley-like shuffle because I'm dancing around a subject that's so direct. I should be able to just say I love you. And being as though I haven't said it yet, you don't know the fireworks that are going off in my head while I'm thinking all this stuff. So that's why I say that. It's sort of alley-like shuffle because I'm dancing around a subject that's so direct. And I watch you over there sitting. You're still sitting there waiting for me to say what I need to say. Like a volunteer to sit in, but there's nothing to protest. In other words, there's nothing for me to fight this anymore. I don't have to stand against this because I feel this. So, I say, I guess there is no contest. And with that said, I confess. The reason I stopped before I said confess to profess, when you confess something, it's normally pulled out of you. It's normally something that you relinquish unwillingly. You really don't want to say it, but you confess it. It's a confession. To profess something more so is the sense of you being able to say it willfully. You want to say it. You'll shout it to the world if you need to. So I go from confessing something to you to professing something to you, which, again, the last words are I love you. So the dialogue is really her just saying, what's on your mind? And me having all these thoughts that are coming rapidly within seconds, and then me getting to the end of it and just saying I love you. So she says, what's wrong? Or what's on your mind? And I say, I love you. Everything else in between is thoughts in my head. Nothing else was really said. So it's a lot of dialogue, but between me and this female, it wasn't. It was, what's wrong? I love you. And it's like, whoa, you know what I mean? So I know the ending of that story, but I kind of wanted to leave it open-ended because this story could be yours too. You could say I love you for the first time. It's not always a happy ending. It's not always a good ending. Anything can happen after you say those words. So you definitely want to be sure when you say them, but also, if you feel it, go for it. So, again, even though I know what happened at the end of my story, I wanted to leave it open so you would know whatever, or fantasize or figure out what happens in the story if you were saying these words. So that's topic of discussion, Decoded. Got some other stuff I'm still working on. Unsaid Part 2 is still on the way. I'm not playing with that. I have to get that out no matter what. So that one is still on the way and coming. What else? Window pane is another one that I'm going to shoot fairly soon. Window pane, I'm just trying to get a visual for. And I actually got a homie that might end up right into it too. What's up, Jarrell, if you're watching? We might link together and do something real special with that. So Window pane is on the way. It's another poem that I wrote 7 years ago, but we got to critique it, memorize it, and get that all working. I found someone to do Dark and Lovely. Hopefully she's in the lab working on that, getting that, recited correctly. And, I'm trying to get a visual for that as well, because I think that's really going to be a special poem that I personally can't portray, but I think she's going to do a great job with it. So, I got someone working on that. Is there anything else? Window pane, Dark and Lovely, Unsaid. I'll leave it there. I don't want to throw out too many poems too fast, but as of right now, those are the poems that are on the way. Topic discussion is now done. You now know what it means to me. If it means something different to you, if I invoked a different emotion to you, great. Run with it. Take it from there. So, again, thanks for watching, because I know this poem was short, but the decoding part of it was long. So, from here on out, I'll see you guys soon. I'm going to try to get these things out fairly routinely to where, you guys aren't waiting a long time to get this information or get these poems out. So stay tuned, be on the lookout, share it, whatever the case is. I'll appreciate, subscribe, whatever you need to do. I'd appreciate if you just take the time to watch it. And I just thank y'all again. All right?